this the conversation surrounding it will more move towards what can like can women be silent anymore? Like, should they be silent anymore? That will be the conversation. If someone like Nayanthara can take on someone like Dhanush, who are in many ways they started together in the industry. I think Dhanush started in 01, Nayanthara in 03. So it's more of the peers starting together with an equal amount of stardom. Of course, the box office pool might all we can that's a debatable point altogether. But stardom, yes, on social media, yes. So when something like this happens, people are now looking at what all can change.
And Tara is also a part of the film, and she wanted it to use in her own documentary because the film was also monumental in her personal and probably professional life, both. She wanted to use
Hmm.
it, therefore, she's not liking what he did, right? That is the reason why
Correct, correct,
that's a
correct.
more of a
Yeah,
personal and emotional allegation that she has
yeah, yeah.
not.
It's purely personal actually because it will not hold water in a court of law because producer can say no.
Hello and welcome everyone. Nayantara, one of the biggest stars in Indian cinema, has dropped a bombshell in an open letter accusing none other than Dhanush of holding a grudge against her and her husband. Now we have Avinash Ramchandra here with us from the Indian Express, and today we are going to explore the bigger picture behind this unfolding story. So, Avinash, let's begin with Nayantara's accusation against Dhanush. What is it exactly about?
Uh, so to set a kind of a context, I think it started off with the Netflix documentary that released today. It's called Nayanthara Beyond the Fairy Tale. So her husband Vignesh Shivan was a filmmaker himself. They met on the sets of this film called Naanum Rowdy Dhaan, which was backed by Dhanush in 2015. So they wanted to use footage from the film to show that their blossoming romance, their courtship period. They wanted to use music from the film, which in many ways was a love letter of sorts that Vignesh Shivan wrote for Nayanthara. But somehow I think when they asked for an NOC from the producer Dhanush, he wasn't willing to give it. That's where the whole thing started. He didn't want to give the NOC, which is completely within his legal right. He can say no to someone asking to use any kind of material from his film. So Nayanthara, even in her letter, says that probably what I want will not be acceptable in a court of law, but you'll have to answer in the court of God. So it's more of there's no legal standing that Nayanthara might have in this space, but it's also what she's saying is we were willing to pay and stuff like that, and we wanted it waited for 2 years to get the NOC from you, but you never answered our request and so close to the release when they eventually started using footage. I think that's when Dhanush got a whiff of what happened, and then he sent a legal notice saying you're supposed to use it and claim damages of rupees 10 crores. So I think 2 days before the release of the documentary, when such some court notice did come to them, they retaliated with a three-page letter that came out on social media. I think that's where everything happened. There are various speculations around why Dhanush didn't accept not to give the NOC. I think it starts off from some people say that he lost a lot of money in the film because of overshooting and the budget was completely some 100% more than what he initially planned. And then there were a lot of throughout the years we've seen them having developed a sort of old blood over this thing because I think even in a Filmfare Awards ceremony, Nayanthara, who won the award for the same film, she said, Dhanush didn't like my performance at all. So there was a very there was no. I think they never buried the hatchet. They just moved on past it. But probably their worlds collided once again when this Netflix documentary happened. Otherwise, I'm not sure if they would have ever come back on talking terms per se. But I think this they didn't have an option. So when Dhanush had the chance to to let them know that what happened, I think he took it.
So Nayantara mentions in her open letter that she has used the clips of like 3 seconds. And on
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
Dhanush has probably sent a court notice. And it seems
Correct,
like
correct.
Nayantara's allegations are more personal. Like this is the kind of behavior that she was not expecting out of Dhanush. But do you think that she also mentioned in her open letter that she's a self-made woman with no industry connections? So is she trying to hint at the fact that film industry is biased towards newcomers, and because Dhanush has family ties within the industries, he's able to do this?
Honestly, every industry has this whole nepotism debate that's been
Yeah, yeah.
probably it's much larger scale in Hindi and Telugu, but
Mm.
Tamil probably they don't have that much of a conversation around it. But make no mistake, Dhanush has ties within the film industry. His father was a filmmaker. Of course, he didn't probably have the economic power that probably a lot of other star kids might have. So, but then still he had the resources, and that's when he came through cinema, and that's how he did all his films. But then
Yeah.
in many ways, he is a self-made star in the way that he maneuvered through a lot of criticisms, through a lot of trolling. So he's also in some way ensured that he has come up in a tough situation. But again, Nayanthara is a complete outsider. She was trying to do her, like the documentary says that she was doing her CA when a photo of hers got published on a local magazine. It was picked up by a famous filmmaker in Malayalam, and then from there to Tamil, Telugu, and Hindi, Kannada. Every industry she's been doing a great job. So I think in comparison, yes, Nayanthara came from a different kind of place altogether. She didn't have connections. She had to face a lot of criticisms through the years. We've seen her like every single move that she has made being scrutinized, being criticized. Her relationships have been open books, and that also has put her into trouble. And automatically, when such conversations happen, it is the women, it is the heroines who get a lot of trolls, a lot of targeted harassment happens to the heroines in any industry, and that's not. And Nayanthara's case is no different. So probably that is why the letter was put it that way. That it took me a lot of let's say time, resources, and lot of I spent a lot more to get to the place I am. So you could be a little more generous. I think that was the idea of
Letter.
the letter itself. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So before the bad blood started, probably, how was the relationship between Dhanush and Nayanthara before all of this started?
They've starred in probably one of the most celebrated romance films in Tamil cinema called Yaradini Mohini.
Yeah.
And then when she was in a break and not acting for a couple of years, it's actually Dhanush who asked her to come and perform a song for him in his one of his first production, which is starred Sivakarthikeyan in the lead. She
Mm.
came and did that song for free, and that was told by that was told by Dhanush in an interview. So they seem to have a good rapport. They did. Seem to be having a very close connection. They were friends. There are videos that surface. There are photos that come up of their happier times, if you could say so. But probably, I think it is post Naanum Rowdy Dhaan that things didn't really happen well. And then, as I said, they didn't have a reason to reconnect after that. But with Netflix documentary coming up, I think they finally did.
But this is still a speculation.
Yeah, it is because most of things that happen in Tamil cinemas behind closed doors, no one really says anything. They're all very humble. They don't really open up and say anything. They just say God knows, or they say you decide, or the audience can decide what is right or wrong. Because that is why I think what Nayanthara did is something that shocked the industry per se, and people have been taking sides left, right, and center because this is not something that usually happens in Tamil cinema. Everything is so hush hush.
Hmm.
Like you never know if someone is ousted from the film, they still say good things about it. If someone's film's bombed, they still say good things about it. It's almost like there's a fake humility that is always there in a lot of stars of Tamil cinema. And I think what Nayanthara did is like ruffling those feathers and saying that probably not everything is hunky dory in the industry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Coming to the point that you made, yes, a lot of actors have taken stand, and some of Dhanush's co-actors have also taken stands. And actresses like Parvati and Anupma have cheered for Nayanthara. Now, is it a sign that of industry's solidarity, or mostly women have sided with Nayanthara? So are women coming out and supporting each other more? Do you think?
I think it clearly points to that because I don't know if any mainstream top tier hero from any like male
Exactly.
hero from any industry actually like the post or said anything against it. They are maintaining a neutral stance as always. It's the women who've come forward to take a stance, and even there is this actor called Gayatri who put
Yeah.
out this explanation kind of a tweet saying probably it's high time we make the hero and the women also stakeholders of the IP. It's not just the hero or the director who should like in Hollywood we have this idea of residuals where anytime your film gets remade, gets made in other language, you get a part of the profits or there is this phenomenon there which is completely not here. And more often than not, we always say a film is about the hero or it's a great filmmaker, the filmmakers. It's never the heroines are never brought into the conversation. Like even for instance, Naanum Rowdy Dhaan is as much as a Nayanthara film as it is a Vijay Sethupathi film. As much as it is a Vignesh film, it is a Nayanthara film again. But of course, the legal rights lie with Dhanush, and he is completely in his own way right in saying he won't give it. But then I think the solidarity happened not just because it's against Dhanush, it's also because Nayanthara is taking a stance. It's about a major superstar in Tamil, Telugu, Indian cinema, and uh,
Correct.
actually saying that, see, I need my rights or something. See, again, you can continue to argue about the legalities of it, but the point is someone has taken the first step in saying what is happening to me is not right. That is something which is not really often happened in Tamil cinema in these kind of things. We don't really, as I said, they all brush under the carpet or they have closed door meetings about it. Out in the open, again, someone who's in that stature of Dhanush, that is new.
So legally, it is not wrong on Dhanush's part that he has sent the notice and he doesn't want to share the rights. But
Yeah,
because
yeah.
but because Nayanthara is also a part of the film and she wanted it to use in her own documentary because the film was also monumental in her personal and probably professional life, both. She wanted to use
Hmm.
it, therefore she's not liking what he did, right? That is the reason why
Correct, correct,
that's a
correct.
more of a
Yeah,
personal and emotional allegation that she has
yeah, yeah.
not.
It's purely personal actually because it will not hold water in a court of law because producer can say no.
Hmm.
That is
Now,
the present law.
talking a little bit more about the fact that Nayanthara now is a big name, like everybody knows her and she has an influence
Yeah.
and she's kind of a superstar. And Dhanush, we all know, is another influential personality across nation. So, somebody like this, somebody like a Nayanthara accusing or holding somebody like a Dhanush liable of on moral grounds, and it has a gender tone to it as well, if I may say.
Correct.
You can correct me if I'm wrong. And in the backdrop of whatever happened in the backdrop of Hema committee report recently, do you think that women are now challenging the status quo per se, and they are coming out more strongly, and this is going to set an example for women in the coming future as well?
No, absolutely right. Because that's where the like I can say in Malayalam cinema, the Women in Cinema Collective, they created this whole space for people to come forward through the Committee report, and then well, when speaking to a few personalities in Tamil cinema, they were like probably something like that will not happen in Tamil because, as I said, everything is very amicable in a lot of Tamil cinema places. So I think this what will happen with the Nayanthara versus Dhanush, the whole thing is, see, after a point people will move past it because there is nothing that will happen because the Nayanthara will move on to the next film, Dhanush will go on to the next film. What might really happen is the conversation surrounding it will more move towards what can women be silent anymore? Like, should they be silent anymore? That will be the conversation. If someone like Nayanthara can take on someone like Dhanush, who are in many ways they started together in the industry. I think Dhanush started in 01, Nayanthara in 03. So it's more of the peers starting together with an equal amount of stardom. Of course, the box office pool might all we can that's a debatable point altogether, but stardom, yes, on social media, yes. So when something like this happens, people are now looking at what all can change. Now they'll be like if some comes and says that I need this kind of a right in my role. I want to say that no, I will not do this. And if someone says no, I'll be not choosing you for a film, they can openly come and tell it. They don't need really to. So social media is such a powerful tool that you don't really need to wait for these to happen and then come out and say. You can say it as is now because The newer generation of actors are all social media savvy. They know what is working, they know what is right, and they are seeing what's happening. I think when someone like Nantara puts out the statement, it opens up doors for many people to. It gives them the confidence. Might see again, she might not have the legal right. She might not have the grounds to say anything else except saying that we can see in the court of God. And
Yeah.
as I said, Dhanush is really not in the wrong for saying no. But
Yeah.
what happens is it's questioning the power, it's questioning authority.
Mm.
That is what will open up the space. The people will get the belief that they can question anybody in authority and at least get an answer from them. An answer that might not be favorable to them, but questioning itself is not happening. So when questions are being placed, I'm saying even now Dhanush has not said anything against what happened with the letter. He's not sent a rebuttal per se,
Yeah.
and he's been someone who never does that. Also, like there have been so many conversations surrounding him, but he always remains stoic. He always goes on with his work. He never says anything. I'm not sure if he will do anything even now. But the thing is, as we were discussing, that opens up as when someone like Nantara says, I have been wronged. And I can use social media to tell that to the world that, see, I have been wrong. Probably that is the strength that other actors will have to put out their opinions. Just saying out loud that, I think just putting it out to the world saying, I have faced this. I hope no one else does. It's
Yeah.
that kind of paying it forward kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Avinash, for this discussion. We'll have to wait and see if Dhanush reverts and says anything. We'll get into another discussion probably then. And if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe the Indian Express's YouTube channel. Thank you.